Hello, I'm Councilman Ron Bowen, and welcome to another edition of PSL Living. And today we're going to talk business. And when I talk about business, I talk about small business in Port St. Lucie. And with me, special guest, Joel Dramis, head of the building department here in the city of Port St. Lucie, does many duties. And one of the duties is small business administration and formation. And Joel, greetings and welcome to PSL Living.
Thank you.
You do a number of tasks with your department. I know you do the code enforcement and the building permits. Give us a general overview of your department and your responsibilities. I know you're one of 17 department heads with the city, but give us a little bit broader scope of your duties.
Okay. Well, the main thing we do is building permits and all the functions relating to building permits. We run about 2,000 permits every month now in the building department. We also do what used to be called code enforcement. We call it code compliance. Last year, we set a record of over 22,000 code compliance cases in the course of the year. Now, these aren't all cases that eventually lead to court. Sometimes they're a case that just may lead to a knocking on the door to inform someone there may be a violation on their property.
That's important for our quality of life, and you and
Yes,
I agree on that. That having derelict homes or homes in disrepair or are not compliant need to be addressed.
And as part of that, we get involved in the abandoned property registration program. We get involved in the nuisance abatement program, neighborhood stabilization, and we also do this new vacant lot ordinance, so we administer that as well.
And on top of that, you've taken upon yourself to help the small business community out, doing a lot of business service workshops. And I wanted to talk about that this morning a little bit, the ones that are coming up. And I think when I met you over 30 years ago, Joe, I was a small businessman, moved into the area, and all I knew about small business in the area here in South Florida was go get a checking account, get the utilities turned on, go rent some office space, and there you are, hang on, hope you can make it. But it's a little more sophisticated now, and the city's become really business friendly, more so than ever, and they have these series of workshops for people that want to start a business or want to improve their business. Can you elaborate a little more on these four upcoming workshops?
Another one of the divisions that is in the building department is business tax receipt. It used to be called occupational licensing. And that basically is a tax to have your business in the city. But 4 years ago, we took that one step further and we said we want to try to help folks go into business. We want to offer them some workshops. We want to offer them some new business classes so they know what to expect when they do business in the city. We run 18 classes so far. Most of our classes run between 50 and 100 people.
Wow.
In the class. And here's the unique thing. The class is totally free. But what we've experienced when folks take the class and they come in to get their business tax receipt, their check is correct, their paperwork is correct, we actually spend half the amount of time processing that business tax receipt.
So you actually as a mentor, you're acting as a mentor, kind of an advisor, kind of really an advisory role, mentor.
But you see, there's an advantage to that, Ron, because what we've seen is if we take less time with government processing your application, shouldn't we charge you less money? So 3 years ago, I approached the city council and I said, would you allow me to reduce the fee so it's just based on our cost for service for everyone that takes the class? And they said absolutely. So if you take the new business class, not only will you get some valuable information, but you can get 1,000 free business cards from one of our partners, or 2 free card magnets, or 2 free name tags. And you will also get an opportunity to network with folks that are going into business just like you. We call that strategic partnerships.
I'm talking old timer, Joe. I remember the old welcome wagon at one time when you moved into the neighborhood. Somebody came by with a basket full of goodies and really got you all the information you needed to become a good neighbor. It's sort of like
we have a lot of
business welcome wagon and a lot of things, incentives for the small business community to seek out the city for some workshops, advice, and again, just some mentoring.
It works out very well.
When are those class days? You have some idea when they're coming up?
What we've done is we have these new postcards here made, essentially made from one of our vendors, our partners. And on March 10th, we have a contractor licensing class, and that's at 9 o'clock.
That's pretty popular.
Building B. Yeah, we run about 75 to 100. And a lot of folks, they know how to do electrical work. They may know how to do painting. They may know how to do carpentry. but they don't know how to go about being in business. And the city has regulations, but also the state of Florida has regulations that they impose on us to enforce for the state. So it can be kind of complicated for some folks, and what we do is we walk them through the steps. We will also give them a discount receipt when they get their license. And also to sponsor them for the exam, I've also asked the city council to allow me to reduce that fee by $60.
Wow.
And they agreed. So we give a series of discounts, a lot of free information. In a lot of our workshops, we bring in an attorney, an accountant, and these are folks that are not trying to solicit for business. They're just trying to tell you when you think you should get an attorney for your small business.
Sure. They're the
Or
ones
at what point do you need an accountant?
Sure, they're the ones that started out themselves from ground zero, and they built their businesses up. So they're a good source of information, and then trusted advisors too. If you get some legal advice on how to set up your business, that's great. And
They all volunteer for free.
Yeah. And it shows me, Joel, and again, we've talked about it before. Your department certainly has illustrated it. Is the city is really pro-business, and
Yes,
sometimes we're not doing enough, or there's a lot of people don't like our rules and regulations. But the rules and regulations are there to protect the citizens and protect the trades and the professions. You had some statistics for me earlier, and we're not big on statistics, but let's talk about unlicensed contractors. I know it's been calls I've gotten in my office, people doing electrical work and plumbing work thinking they're Joe Handyman without the proper credentials or insurances. Can you elaborate a little more on some of the enforcement you've been doing in that area?
Sure. The state of Florida, as I said, they have a lot of rules. Florida Chapter 489 of Florida statutes regulates contractor licensing, and they also mandate what the local jurisdictions can and cannot do. The state of Florida says, you can license electricians, but they have to register with the state of Florida, and here's the criteria for licensure. So one of the things we have to do is we're tagged with having to enforce that on a local level. Last year, our investigations went up 148%.
Wow.
And that's also with no increase in staffing. We went up 148%. And we also, when we have individuals that are caught doing contractor licensing without the license, then we have to impose a citation on them. But the citation would give them the option. If they go and follow through and get a license, we'll get rid of the whole citation. We'll rip it up. In a sense, we'll void their citation.
Sort of a mulligan, so to speak.
Yeah. And our citation has been up 546% just in January of this year, as opposed to January of last year.
So with the building activity that's coming back in Port St. Lucie, there's a lot of unlicensed contractors. So actually, it behooves the homeowner before they hire somebody to call the city and see if they're legit and licensed with the city.
Absolutely, because when you hire an unlicensed person, if they don't have a license, their workers' comp is no good. You have to have a actual license for your workers' comp to have any value. So you may hire a roofer and say he's a really nice guy, he's a friendly guy, I want to hire him, but if he slips and falls off your roof, you could become liable for his medical bills.
So the real good deal you're getting from an unlicensed contractor may turn out to be a bad deal down the road if something happens.
Exactly, and it becomes harder for us to bring that contractor into compliance if he's not licensed.
Right.
If he's a licensed contractor, we always meet with him, go out to the site, and he makes the corrections.
Well, it sounds like the city's willing to meet these people halfway, and treat them fair, which is all we can ask. The other courses you're having, or the workshops you're having with a general contractor, real briefly, just give the three.
Yeah, on May 12th, we have Career Source. That's where you're bringing a panel of experts. We're bringing an HR person, we're bringing an attorney, we're bringing an accountant. We bring in someone that's a specialist in helping business. We're bringing maybe 7 or 8 experts. They each give a little talk, and then the folks in the class, the participants, have opportunities to ask questions of the experts. And many of the experts will tell the folks, call me anytime. I'll give you a free consultation. Or if you have any questions, come and see me. They're not really there trying to get business, they're trying to help business.
Right. Well, I'm a member of the small business community, as you well know, Joel. And I think in the small business community, I'm a chamber member of 2 chambers. We want other business people, we don't view other people as competitors. We want them to succeed, because if they succeed, the whole business community succeeds, and then our business will succeed eventually. So I think it's a healthy approach that the city's taken.
Well, another thing we do, Ron, we have 2 more classes, by the way. We have one for code compliance for commercial business, a brand new program class we put on.
That'd be where to put your dumpsters and what that lighting.
Where to put your junk, where to put your garbage.
Okay, or screening stuff
Absolutely,
that maybe outdoor
because
storage.
The condition of the commercial business is just as valuable to us as the condition of the single-family home.
That's true. That's true.
It needs
Even
to
more
be kept
so.
clean, and there are a lot of opportunities and ways that we can help that commercial business
Very good.
to come into compliance. And on August the 11th, we have another new business startup for any kind of business. Generally seems to be the busy time of year around August. Everybody, for some reason, wants to go in business. I don't know exactly why.
They probably used all their vacation time up and said it's time to start my new venture here.
But we've
at the end of
curtailed
summer.
a class, a special new business class for that time. And something else that we do is we do a business closing survey. Businesses close all the time, as you know.
Right.
But they close for a variety of reasons. For the last 55 businesses that we talked with that closed, one of them closed because of the economy. The other one's closed because they melded with another business. The other one closed because Grandpa got sick in North Carolina and they wanted to go stay with him. Another one closed because they got a job. See, a lot of folks opened up businesses in the last 3 years because they didn't have a job. Says, well, I'll go into my own business. Now they're giving up those businesses because they got a job.
Right, I'm glad we did that extra survey. You're doing that extra survey, Joel, because I think I was one of the council members that said, why are they leaving? Are we not friendly, pro-business, friendly people here in the city? And through the survey, what you're telling me, we are friendly, pro-business in the city. They're leaving for reasons other than that, and that's reassuring for me as a small
They
business
are,
person.
and one of the most, we only asked maybe about 8 or 10 questions, but the biggest thing, the reason why people came here to start their business was they like the Keep Port St. Lucie Beautiful motto, the clean city.
And the quality of life, it's clean air, clean water, clean streets, safe and secure streets. It's the whole package here in Port St. Lucie.
It's one of the biggest factors.
Hey, listen, thanks for talking about the small business community. I want to shift gears before we finish
Sure.
up today. And there's an old Anne Murray song, Sure Could Use a Little Good News. And on the building front, permits, talk to me. Are we coming, everybody's been waiting, everybody's saying the recession's over, yes. Everybody's waiting for the building boom to start. I think the building boom is already starting again, not building boom, but the building activity starting up again. Can you confirm or
Sure.
correct me one way or the other, Joel?
Well, I'm always full of good news. I'm
Okay.
I'm the incurable optimist,
Okay, I have to tell
so
Anne
I
Murray
will
that.
give you that good news. I track the amount of permits on a monthly basis. Now, truth be told, I probably track it 3 times a day. We have a new computer program that was designed by our own MIS people and my staff that I get instant notifications of permit activity. And what I find very interesting is typically, take January for instance, this last month. Typically January ran about 800, 900 permits a month. It's January, it's after the holidays, nobody thinks about building
Sure.
or doing that kind of work. Well, last month we topped 1,889 permits.
Wow.
Now, there probably were a few more, we just didn't have the time to get them in the computer in enough time. But last year, for instance, every month was the best month on record for the last 7 years. Right now, we have about 1,000 permits for the month of February. February is a short month. We're looking to top about 2,000 permits. Typical February is about 1,200. So, yeah, it's picking up.
There's beehive activity. As long as we manage the growth, I think it's going to be a very positive future here in Port St. Lucie. A couple of core things before I let you go, Joel. I was thinking on the way over here today, how many years have you been with the city? And I've known you a long time, and I'm just trying to guess. It seems like you've been here forever, but how many years have you been with the city?
Yeah, it does. Seems like I've been here 27 years.
27 years. Wow. That's great. And how many people are on your staff? Again, under your management?
With the whole groups, everybody, we're at 74, including code compliance, business tax, and nuisance abatement.
Well, big department, and you've worked your way up into management over the years, and you're a dedicated and loyal and hardworking employee. And I'm very appreciative of you and the whole staff, and I'm very thankful you came on today and talked about Port St. Lucie small business and all the opportunities for the small business community. I really do appreciate it,
I
Joel.
always love to brag about the city.
Okay, well, thanks again, and we'll be right back after this message.